Chris, moving you forward then to the surgery, and you then had quite a big operation. Obviously, you had your diagnostic biopsy, then you had so after that, I first met you when you'd had your wider excision. Talk us through that. What was the experience of that like?
Well, originally we were going to do the wider excision on a local anaesthetic, and I was kind of, ready for that. But then they decided, because they were taking a chunk out of here to fit in the hole up there, that would mean turning me over, and it was just easier to do that if I was fully out, which was fine. This was all in Merthyr, and it all went fine, but it involved quite a lot of, the back of my head being taken out and right the way down to the bone. And sort of stitching another bit of my skin in here, and then looking after the wound is quite difficult on your head, because obviously you want to keep it dry, but at the same time you want to look presentable, so you want to be able to wash your hair and things like that. And it's difficult to stick plasters on your head when you've got hair. So there were all sorts of complications around that. And then somehow or other the skin graft didn't quite take, and it sort of bubbled up, and then it ended up turning into necrotic tissue. That's another one I know. And then it had to be debrided, another term I now know.
We had just started using relatively recently what's another term that people won't necessarily be familiar with, which is adjuvant treatment. So this is adding on treatment to surgery. So up until very recently, the treatment for melanoma was just surgery, just as you've had. But we've now got a couple of different classes of drug therapies that we're using to try and reduce the risk of cancer ever returning. Did you feel that was a difficult decision to make, trading the sort of risks and benefits of sort of treatment?
When you've got something like this, partly because you don't, I slept terribly the first night after the diagnosis and all of that. Best advice I had then was, today will be your worst day on this. But the tendency is to look at Google all the time, and Dr. Google is extremely unreliable, because you have no way of knowing whether this article is new or accurate or relates to the UK or other parts of the world and all the rest of it. So, you end up in a sort of cycle of doom. And that's why I think reliable websites that, such as Melanoma Focus and the NHS and various others are really, really important. When it came to the decision about treatment, no, I was, bearing in mind, I'd been told that I was like 40% likely to live a year. This is 3 years ago now. Whereas all the indications showed that with the adjuvant treatment, whichever of the two it was, the chances of survival rose dramatically. It was a no-brainer, really.
People will be worried about having these drug treatments, but these drug treatments are very different than traditional cancer therapies. Both the targeted treatment that you had and the immune therapy, which is the other type of treatment we use for melanoma. The side effect profiles of those treatments, although they can be tough, not always, and people, with the right advice, the right support, do get through treatments, remarkably well, and there's a lot to be gained from them. So again, if people need support and help, we're there for them as the charity to guide them through the decision around whether they want treatment, what type of treatment, and managing the side effects of therapy.